Ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'll call to order the January 20th, 2026 Economic Development Authority meeting.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I would like to add one thing, if we could, before. I thought I'd like to add maybe after the Sims update, maybe between 6 and 7, I'd like to propose a quick discussion about 2026 EDA goals, if we don't mind. All right.
Like a good idea.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adopt that with the changes.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have an agenda. Item number 3, our recognition of Brian Bezanson.
Let me just get to it here real quick.
You.
That's me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I'm going to read this off here for the benefit of those watching at home. The current term for Brian Bezanson's position as a member of the East Bethel Economic Development Authority will conclude on January 31st, 2026. Mr. Bezanson has served on the EDA for over 14 years, being first appointed by City Council on August 17th, 2011. Prior to his appointment to the EDA, Mr. Bezanson served on the City Council from 1995 through 2002. During his tenure on the EDA, Mr. Bezanson was part of the development of the Business Retention and Expansion Program, which focused on and resulted in access to resources and assistance to local businesses. He was an advocate of economic development projects such as the Broadband Internet Gap Analysis Report, which assisted existing businesses, the 80 voltage market study, and in the search for and recruitment of new commercial and industrial enterprises in the city. Mr. Bezanson has served with dedication in his positions, and the City of East Bethel expresses its gratitude for his leadership and service for his work to further the city's economic development programs and projects. We wish Mr. Bezanson the best in his future endeavors, and we want to thank him for his contributions to the city. And on behalf of a very grateful city, Mr. Bezanson, thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Present you with a plaque signed by all the members.
Thank you.
There you go.
Can I make
Thank you.
a comment?
You would, of course,
You know, I stopped running for city council. It wasn't that I had gotten beat. I was tired. And the city administrator, when I came back on, Jack Davis recruited me with the comment, he said, you know where all the bodies are buried in East Bethel. And I said, yeah, I do, and I probably know where the shovels are too. I think that the only person who probably in this room that knows as much about all that old stuff is Mr. Anderson. And it was an honor to be asked. It was an honor to serve. We certainly had some outstanding individuals on it. Mr. Butler, I know I'll miss some people. Oh, geez. The Iron Range dementia's kicking in. Doug Welter.
Oh, Doug was
I mean, what
fantastic.
Doug did with the Business Retention and Expansion Program. And Julie, you have been the most qualified person I could ever imagine to be serving on an EDA with your professional background. As two people who are both in the construction industry, you bridge I know nuts and bolts, concrete, rebar, dirt work. You really know the whole development process. And I think that's a very key thing to have on the EDA.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And appreciate the plaque.
Can we add in our own statements? I just want to express what an honor and a pleasure it has been getting to know you and serving with you all these years. You've been just an integral part of the whole EDA, just with your background knowledge and just I mean, it's the value that this commission brings, right? With just the various backgrounds of different citizens to help guide council and make the decisions in a direction to create economic development in our city. And I think it's been wonderful for you to serve, and your input was invaluable.
And to be honest, I don't spend nearly enough time in the city anymore to be involved. I mean, as some of you know, I spend a lot of time up at Lake Mille Lacs. So hopefully the fish will be biting again this fall.
Yeah, and you'll catch some. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words.
I would just echo Julie's comments that you've been a longstanding member here and a vocal member, and you've brought a lot to this group just with your background.
Thank you, Brian.
It's been a pleasure having you here. Just without that, just as an all-around person, you are open to discussion and adding your viewpoints and doing it in a professional manner. And in today's political climates, that can be a difficult thing. So I've appreciated serving with you all this time.
Thank you.
Brian, I appreciate your service. I appreciate the stories that you have told. Those stories have taught me a lot and about the history of East Bethel that I didn't know, and what to do and maybe what not to do in the future. Thank you.
Sometimes carpenter, I mean, that's what I am. I'm a carpenter by trade, and sometimes carpenters can contribute to things
Absolutely.
besides
Absolutely.
pounding nails,
Absolutely.
or as it is these days, air guns.
Yep.
So,
I too would like to congratulate you. I mean, back years ago when I was the fire chief and you first came on the council, we butt-headed a little bit at the beginning, but over the years we've grown to have a nice relationship. And I do appreciate all your service, sir.
Artie, I would say the same thing, that, yeah, we butted heads at first on some budget issues and things like that, but we
ironed them out.
yeah, we both had the same thing. We're both more concerned about the city of East Bethel.
Yep.
And I guess my final words would be that the biggest lesson I learned in working for the citizens of East Bethel, as both a council member and on the EDA, is the truism that potholes don't have politics.
Good analogy.
Yeah, very much so. Well, thank you again. All right. All right, with that, we'll move on to item number 4, the election and appointment of officers.
Madam Chair, if you want to just, if someone wants to offer the resolution in
Oh, we have
recognition
to-
and then
oh,
vote
we
on
have-
that, that'd be great.
We're going to make it this official.
Gonna make this official.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-01, resolution recognizing Brian Bezanson for his service to the city of East Bethel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Resolution 2026-01 is passed. Thank you again, Brian. All right. Now we are ready to move on to agenda item number 4, selection of the 2026 EDA officers.
Yeah, Madam Chair and Commissioners, we've got the organizational portion of the meeting before us now, and we have 5 votes that need to happen with regards to selecting a president, vice president, treasurer, assistant treasurer, and secretary. And you'll notice on there some of the, per the bylaws, that myself, Mike Jazorski, and Carrie Frost are kind of identified as the treasurer, assistant treasurer, and secretary. And then of the group, then you can pick a president and a vice president, and then that'll carry forward for 2026.
I'd like to nominate Julie again for president.
I would second that.
She's doing such an amazing
Oh,
job.
thank you. I'd be happy to do it. I'm just getting down to the page. Can you scroll down a little bit, Matt? Just a bit. Thank you. Okay. So vice president, vice chair, vice president. I think, so help me with the structure. So now we've
So-
got,
So we can just vote on the president now. There's a motion and a second.
okay,
Vote on that, and then you can open the floor for nominations for vice president, and proceed through that.
okay, we
as
don't
well.
need the full slate. Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. So we have a motion and a second. Okay. All in favor of Julie Lux as president for 2025?
Aye.
And opposed? All right, that motion carries. So any thoughts on vice president or any
Any nominations?
Any nominations or offers or expressions of interest?
I'll do it. I'll nominate myself.
That's, I'm glad. I just wanted to make sure somebody was
seemed interested.
interested
I was
and
gonna
willing.
nominate somebody else,
Yeah.
but-
I nominate Suzanne Urkel for vice chair, vice president.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. And then our slate is set for treasurer,
Good.
assistant.
Do we still need?
Do we
make a
need to vote
motion?
on that?
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve as treasurer Matt Look, assistant treasurer Mike Jaworski, and secretary Carrie Frost.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have a slate.
Okay.
All right. Next, we need to, long ago, we need to approve our July 2021 EDA minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 21st EDA minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion carries. Next up, the 1347 Sims Road update.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I just wanted to give a quick update on 1347 Sims. We've been talking about a little bit. I think the original discussion originated here in the EDA as far as looking at that property and possibly putting together a purchase agreement, which the council ultimately approved, moving ahead with that purchase agreement. And there were conditions that were placed on that to make sure that the price was correct and that an appraisal would be done, that there wasn't any environmental contamination on there, that a phase one would be done. Both of those have been done and included in your packet. That's the lion's share of the packet that was included there, is all the documents that go with this. And title commitment is in there and the purchase agreement as well. So all those things have been met. The closing is scheduled for the 27th, and provided everything goes through on that. I will make you aware of the fact that prior to the closing here, somebody did break into that property and they relieved it of its copper. And so the seller is essentially going to file a claim for that loss. We're going to close before that goes through, of course, so then the checks that they'll receive for that, there'll be an agreement where they sign that over to the city. The city then, and this committee, gets to decide the disposition of that property. As you know, the septic system is not operational. Now it's missing copper. And so there's options on the table. The options would consist of, potentially renting this property out, but you would have to invest the money in, an operational septic and plumbing PEX replacement of that copper that was removed. The other alternative is to do a fire training op on the property, and it would be a no burn training. So the concern is if you were to burn the property, there would be smoke that would potentially cause accidents on Highway 65. So they want to avoid that. But there is other training that can be done, and the sheriff's office then kind of spoke up and said, well, we'd like to maybe bring the SWAT team in and do some training too. So that's an option, certainly, to allow our first responders and public safety to sharpen their skills. And then ultimately, if decided this property can be demolished, it can be made pad ready. We can put a sign up that says city owned. If interested, contact the city. Economic development in progress type of sign, and then that would alert those that are potentially interested in bringing economic development to the city to approach the city and work out an agreement on purchasing that property and moving forward. So everything looks to be good aside from the little snafu on the copper, but it's an unfortunate thing. Yeah. So we'll stand for questions if there are any on that.
I have a quick question. I just asked Mr. Look to be at the ready with the GIS map. So given that we're grandfathered in, we've got a driveway, albeit is pretty close to the state highway. I was wondering about that little 1/10 of an acre that would give us access to 213th
To the frontage road.
to the frontage road.
Yep.
Seems like,
Oops. Where did that go?
just X out in the top left corner. That'll get you back to the map. Yeah. So that little guy right there.
Right here.
Is kind of a leftover piece. I did a little research. The bank used to have all of these pieces, and back in 2018, I think the bank just deeded the property to somebody named Boulder Contracting. I don't know if you know them or for like $3,500. So I don't know what they're going to do with it or if they even remember that they have it, but it seems to make sense that we should maybe pick that up because I can see potential changes to State Highway 65 and that access could get cut off. I mean, there'd be a right in and right out, but it would be a lot more marketable, I would think, with the access to the service road.
Yeah.
I'm not, I believe that is an easement, if the city really wants to look at that. I think that was deeded as an easement.
It's owned by a different,
Yeah, I know it is. And
I kind of I dug into some of the title
Out of Ham Lake.
stuff. I didn't. There was an easement at one point, a
Right.
temporary easement,
Yeah,
but I think it's expired.
okay. 'Cause I know at
So,
one time there was an easement there.
yeah. And then I don't know if our thought is an assemblage with the site next door, because that was just purchased last year by a private individual. I have no idea what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, for 140,000.
Right. So, I don't know. I just think it would behoove us to pick up that access just to make it more marketable in the long run.
So, Madam Chair and Commissioners, what I will say is, when we were doing our due diligence on this property, contacting the state to see if there's going to be any changes, or contacting the county to see if there'd be any changes or any restrictions to this property, they had brought this up too and said, well, what about this little piece up here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of showing their cards a little bit in that
Yeah.
if this parcel included that piece, they would cut off access here all day long, you know? And so that's I guess that's the question, right? If you're a prospective commercial person looking to buy this property, you know, yes, you might consider this entrance good to come in, but you may not want this entrance cut off. You know, if they were to hard channel this with a median, but perhaps it would be right with the right, you know, user, I'm not sure. As it relates to kind of this whole quadrant here and going south, this parcel I think should be of interest. That parcel should be of interest. These two parcels should potentially be of interest
Right,
to this whole
right.
corridor, that if in the event we are successful with bringing city sewer and water to this area, all these parcels right here are gonna go north in value pretty quick.
Agree.
This, of course, being one of the highest visible, and that one too, you know, on the corners, always a hot topic, hot piece of property.
I'd say at the very least, research that property owner with that little corner, possibly make contact just to verify, so that, for any potential future stuff, if, okay, aren't going forward with it right now,
Right.
but we want to later, or if some interested party wants to, that we at least have that, information ready.
Okay.
Any accesses off, off Sims, I would think those would be controlled by the county, not the highway. No, not the state,
Not the state. No, that would be the county.
Right.
Yep.
okay?
Yeah.
And as I look at it as a consumer, and I look at all the little stupid write-in, write-outs that you have, I'm thinking of like the bills over on and whatnot, that's just stupid traffic flow. To me, what that little triangle in back is perfect for is an exit, because people get antsy when they, you know, it's when they're leaving that they don't want to get backed up. And am I making sense to you? You see where I'm
Yes.
coming from?
Agreed.
To me, that's a perfect place for an exit.
Yeah, if it'd be just a right-in only off Sims and exit through 235th.
Especially if
Exactly.
it's, like a fast food place, if a drive-through or a coffee place that goes in there.
And with us being, yeah, that, like I did a quick measurement, it looks like we're
Similar.
less than 200 feet from the intersection, so the county's gonna have heartburn on,
Yep.
on that. We might
Depending
get
on the user.
right,
Depending on the user.
right,
But turning off, the county's gonna find a lot less contentious than coming back in off a, you know, essentially a backage road.
right.
I
If it
think
was
the
a
county
write-in
would be all in
only.
favor of it,
If it was a write-in only, you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they cannot deny access to the property, and the way it's currently set up, there is no other access, so they, you know, I mean, they have to allow that, a full access, but if we were to acquire that, I'm sure their tune would change pretty quick. But we were initially looking at, this is city-owned land here, initially putting in the water tower here and water treatment, but then that would require having to bring it underneath the highway to get over to Sims, which would be costly. So we're kind of talking about fire stations and things of this nature, you know, on the west side of 65. Would something like that work in this quadrant? Potentially.
Maybe.
But anyways, first
Okay.
step in the progress of
Yeah.
acquiring this property, and it'll be interesting to see interested parties when they call as to what they potentially might envision in this corner. The benefit of controlling this is the way it's currently zoned, you don't necessarily control who can come in.
Right,
You know, if it's zoned for a car lot or a car lot's an option, you may very well get a car lot on that corner. That may not be the image that you want for East Bethel along the corridor. So by ownership of this property, you now control, doesn't matter what it's zoned, you control either the opportunity to rezone it or you control who you're gonna sell it to,
agreed.
which kind of helps with that with that image. And to the north, they've done some nice development. These are nice parcels in here, so.
Yes, yeah, it would be great to see the rest of everything get filled in and
Yep.
hopefully a future water and sewer project can help that too.
Okay.
Any other observations or questions on that? Okay, is there, so no council, no action?
Yep, no council
No
action
EDA
necessary at this point.
Okay.
This is just information.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, good luck with the closing.
Thank you.
And then my inserted item number 7, just wanted to have a quick discussion about 2026 EDA goals.
Okay.
You know, in the past couple years, we've been more of a reactive mode, I think, to things that come, not completely, but just, we've tended more that way. And I just would love input from everyone on the commission on what are our goals for 2026? Do we want to be acquiring more property like this? Do we want to have pad-ready sites out there so we're ready when companies are interested in moving to our community? I would just love to hear from anyone who has some input.
Well, I would personally think if it were at all possible to purchase those properties up there, the back ones maybe for the fire and the west side for the water system. But I also think our goal should be to do something in support of our current businesses so that if we do that, they're going to brag to other businesses what a great city this is. If we just keep letting them go and raising their taxes, and I mean, that's not us really raising their taxes as
Sure.
much as it's the state, but I think they'll stay here, but they're not going to advertise and market for us. And I think we don't get a lot of viewers out there watching us right now, but if you get businesses talking to other businesses about, come to East Bethel, it's a great city, blah, blah, blah. I think that is an imperative thing to do, and it will help our city grow where we want it to grow. And it'll make them happy.
And how do we accomplish that? What are our action items? Do we have action items?
Well, look at what some of the other EDAs have done. I looked at Ramsey's, and they've got a stack about this big. I actually ended up accidentally printed the whole thing out. But all these different things they're doing for businesses and Forest Lake too. Their EDA gets involved with their chamber, and they do business expos and stuff like that without spending all this time doing surveys. And then at the business expos, you've got all the businesses in one spot. You could talk to them. What do they need? What do they want? That kind of thing. So, I mean, we could do it in the summer and the spring in the ice arena where it's not too hot, not cold, not being used. I mean, we could do it at the schools in the summertime. We could do it at a lot of places. St. Francis has had business expos at the high school. So why not?
With the makeup of most of our businesses, I can see some would be interested in an expo, but some of our manufacturing businesses and things that aren't direct consumer. Yeah.
They're going to meet other business owners. And we don't have to limit the businesses that show up to East Bethel. We can invite Forest Lake and St. Francis and Isanti and Oak Grove.
Yeah.
And so they can get to know each other.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just a East Bethel business appreciation event. Something like that too.
Absolutely. It's just something, it's just an idea that's been circling in my
Right.
head, you know, I don't have a plan, I don't have anything but an idea.
I know we gotta follow up this spring on what we passed last January. That video flyover we never got done,
Right, right.
so we passed that last January and it just kinda got lost. So we need to, when things green up, get that done.
It would be great to get that. I'd love to get that done.
And probably in some sort of connection, the city itself will be revamping our website this year, aren't we? That we can have some EDA input in that as to what kind of content should we have on there, like a flyover or any promotional videos that we can make up, or something that's dedicated towards EDA in East Bethel on our newly redesigned city website.
Yeah, and our website could do a business of the week and maybe even get businesses to sponsor to help bring in funds, you know?
Yeah, it's long been a goal of mine to have, I'm on a lot of different city websites, and most often you'll find a link for, here's a list of our available sites. I know right now we link to, you know, AC Red has available sites which they link to MinCar, but there's other resources out there too, and I just think just keeping up on that and helping the brokers out there and making sure that our city landowners have the option to list their sites for availability. And I'm more than happy to help with that because I've got lots of opinions on that.
Carrie is handling that.
You what?
Carrie is handling that revamp.
Yeah, I would love to meet with her and provide any help or input.
I look at what it's like now to drive through Ramsey. And I'm driving through Ramsey more now because I'm coming down from Lax and going Family Matters. I look at what that highway is now in comparison to what it was before. I mean, that was an absolute gong show. That's quite a feat of engineering of all that stuff that they've done here. And I look at Highway 65 and how that has changed in the 48 years that I have lived in this town. And I think that's one of the things we need to be thinking about. And I was thinking, I know I thought about it when I was on the council, is that at some point in time, Highway 65 is gonna get upgraded. And I know they've got that whole whatever number ... program. That's the biggest asset we have in this community, is the fact that we're on that highway. And the other thing is that we have cheap, sandy land.
Yeah.
And sand is what you want to, when you're a commercial contractor, that's what you want, is you want a sandy site.
Oh, yeah.
I think that another thing that is real important is you have to have a steady hand on the tiller about how you're going about things. If you get a bad reputation, you can't overcome that. And I'm not so sure we don't have a bad reputation these days out in the building community or the business community. Drama in City Hall doesn't help anybody. I can say that because I'm leaving. It doesn't help anybody.
All right.
So
I
is
think
that
we
some
should
good
look into
feedback?
purchasing the properties that attach to this one. Because I think that us as a city we can possibly open some type of business that can benefit us and start bringing revenue into our city. So I think it's an opportunity there that, and it's a great place, great location. I'm not sure yet what kind of a business, but we should check into that as well. And start bringing money into our city instead of letting it all go out. A lot of other cities have their own businesses too, and they've been pretty successful in a lot of things. I see why there's no reason that we could do the same.
Or we could use this site acquisition as an economic development tool. I mean, we may not get our money back, but we're getting back much more in terms of tax base, et cetera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
So maybe a strategy. I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier this year about just taking a look at our city-owned sites. Excuse me. Which I'd love to think about that too. Strategies for that. So yeah, good list so far. To be continued.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm glad we could get that in there. All right. Anything else? Otherwise, are we ready to move on to our capstone presentation?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I've invited Capstone in this evening to kind of give us a little bit of a background on the project as it currently sits and kind of some of the trends they're seeing and momentum that they have, and then kind of talk about potentially future areas that they're looking to expand to and kind of start this conversation. But also kind of just, you know, I think they do a lot of market studies on how the market's going to be, what they're anticipating the market to be, that sort of thing. I think that'll be very, very informational for us in terms of understanding housing trends and what the spring is going to look like. My guess is it's going to be a good spring, but I'm not in the housing business, so I just kind of have a limited understanding of some of the indicators that are out there. But I think the lowering of the interest rates help a little bit, and hopefully that helps this project as it's building out as well. But we have Tom with us here this evening, and Tom has come with all sorts of very valuable economic development information for us. So,
Good evening. Thank you, Matt. Madam Chair, and members of the EDA and the council as well. Congratulations for you for your service.
Thank you.
And Julie, for you being reelected.
Yeah,
so that's a good
absolutely.
thing. And Susan to be VP. That's a good thing. It's always important to have citizens that do care about their communities, and that just makes us, when we come into city halls, to want to be here and so forth. And you had mentioned about what attracts sometimes businesses. Rooftops truly attract businesses, and that's something to think about. Some city websites, if you take a look at some of their websites, they'll have residential areas besides maybe lots they have available, but they'll shoot over residential areas and they'll show what's going on, the growth that's occurring in the cities. And then also, for example, if I want to move into this city, where's my next housing? Where's the convenience area? Where's the stores? Where's the gas? And I think it really helps someone taking a look at that. And flyovers are the best.
Yeah.
If you ever look at our website, all our neighborhoods have them, and everybody does it today. So that's just my opinion, my thought for some ideas for you guys. But I wanted to.
do you do your own flyovers, or do you contract out to cities that might be interested?
No, we do our own. We have our own. Matt asked me to come in and talk a little bit about where we're at with our development, Viking Meadows, and boy, we're entering our third year. When you come in the first day of City Hall, work with staff for a couple years and so forth, so it's already been 3 years. We're going on 3 years, and sometimes it takes a while to do that. But what I want to talk about is our concept plan that shows the existing plats and the product types that we've been offering. And then, of course, the future 30-acre expansion area. And I'll get in more detail about that in a little bit. And obviously, that expansion area aligns with the long-term planning and orderly growth that we envisioned this 3 years ago. Now, phase 1 and 2 progress I wanted to mention to you, so you can see in this location where the first addition is right here and located here. And so far, right now, we have about 30 homes in different stages, from foundation to completion and so forth, and just to let you know. And we're excited about spring because we're gonna have our model home in the parade of homes. So the parade of homes, obviously, there's still books. People still use the traditional books, and people go online or use their phones. So that's really a lot of the younger generation love to use their phones, but myself, I still like using the book. And so that's a thing. We have 5 new homes, single-family starts. As you know, we started developing in this area our Liberty product, and then we moved into this area for our single-family, and that's occurring right now, as you can see when you go out to the site. Infrastructure, we were blessed this year for infrastructure. We got all the landscaping done. I don't know if you've been through the neighborhood when it was this fall, but we finished all the landscaping along this whole stretch. You can see the wall and you can see all the landscaping coming into the site. We did complete all the sod and everything for the model home. And then as you come through the site, we completed all the sidewalks, completed all the trails for the first phase, and also the boardwalk. I don't know if anybody's been on the boardwalk, but you should walk that boardwalk. It's really nice. So we did all that as part of working together with the city with our park dedication. In regards to the trail connection, I just want to mention real quick. Last week, I was here for the Parks Commission meeting, and Mr. Miller was here as well, representing City Council. It was a very, very good meeting. We're excited that the city park here, the infrastructure should be completed by fall. And as a member of our team, people that move into your community want to see the neighborhood parks. So we've been working with the city, and we're going to be filing the second plat here in February. We got more park dedication dollars coming in, but as part of that second phase park dedication dollars, we're also willing to front future dollars to get the shelter built this fall. So I hope I didn't take any of your steam away, but I didn't know if you were talking about it tonight.
Take that off?
No, I didn't talk about that. I didn't realize that. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So it's really good. And this fall, we're going to see that by the end of the year. And I do like the idea to keep the costs down, because city staff, you have public work people that are willing to construct it with guidance from the people they buy the equipment from. So that's a good thing. It saves a lot of money, it really does. The Parade of Homes is March 13th to April 12th, so just keep that in mind, and I'll just go from there. So, as you remember, this whole site, excluding the expansion area, was 115 acres. It's 115 acres, over 50 acres is open space. So I thought this exhibit would be pretty good visual to see where all the ponds are, where all the wetlands are, where all the trails and everything is, and so that way you can see it. And in the first phase, we had 47 lots total. The second phase, we're gonna have 61. So this will be built this year, and the second phase here. So that'll be the Liberty product. Those are the 55-footers, and then those are the 70-footers up in that location there. So last year with 47, now with another 61. What we have remaining left is 134 lots right here, and then that future addition up there. So that's the last remaining 55-foot lots. This is the transition of 70-foot lots, and then all the way to the 80-foot lots here. So we think it'll take us probably 2 years to get through this, as long as the market is really good and we feel real comfortable. We're getting a lot of interest, and I think now when spring rolls around and people sees this, it's really gonna pop. So we think 2 years here. Well, like I said before, this is our 3rd year coming in, right? So we have to start planning for the future. So now what we're looking at doing here 30-acre expansion area, we have under contract. We've always had under contract, and we have it under contract. And so it's our goal this year, actually, to have everything approved in terms of the preliminary plat and the Met Council through this site. So what happens here, this is in an area where it's considered rural in your city. Met Council has this designated as R1 80-foot lots. We did come in originally with 65-foot wide lots, but at that time, it was not really agreeable amongst many members. So as a transition, we still want to keep the 80-foot lots because that's what the Met Council would say in terms of R1. And you can see that this whole area is probably about 14 acres of wetland, and it's going to be about 20 acres. It's around 30 acres total area. So you can see that in terms of its efficiency, how it's going to be designed around the wetlands, it's really going to be a good layout, I believe. There's a connection point right here for this property, and it looks like the city may have something here in the future, but that could get extended if you need to, but right now we're not proposing that. I wasn't here in the original. We had another project manager that started with this project, and there was discussion about providing a buffer around the north and east side. We still would do that. 10, 15-foot buffer, keep those trees in that location. So that kind of gives you an idea that what we'd like to do in terms of an orderly transition, in terms of utilities, water and sewer, and so forth. But again, we have this under contract. This is something that we want to start planning for. So our goal really tonight, our main focus tonight is to kind of get some feedback from you guys, because it will take some time to get through this process and to get Met Council to approve it too. We don't think that will be an issue, but we believe we can do it. We've had created relationships with these property owners here and these property owners here. I know in the past there was some discussion with a couple of these property owners, but I believe it's much more supported now than it was before in terms of what's looking at here, because we planted the seed and everything. So here, like I said, it would probably be our third year to get here. So it'll take some time, but if I can get approvals, work this process with the city, and get everybody else involved, it'll be a nice addition to the city. So you're looking at 242 lots here that would accommodate another additional 46 plus or minus. I did not lay that out, but I will eventually lay that out. In regards to, Matt had asked about the market, we've been doing a lot of different financing with people that want to buy our homes. So what happens is we end up buying points, we end up buying it down. And you're probably familiar with this if you're in the real estate world. So people are getting 5.5 to 5.9 mortgages with us. And that is the sweet spot. That is the sweet spot. And so we're hoping that really the second quarter and what the data we see, it's going to really pick up. It's going to pick up because there's a huge shortage of homes that are attainable homes. We build from the high 3s to mid 5s. That's the meat, believe it or not, for new construction. Now, some of these other lots that are bigger lots, of course, they're, if someone wants to build something a little higher value, they can do that. That's not an issue. We have a product for that. But we think this is going to be a great, great site. It's got good visibility, and I'm hoping that you agree on that as well. Our main focus has always been to provide quality housing options and choices, and also through the cities to create that trail and open space connectivity. Continue with that, because there is a lot of wetlands in this area, a lot of open space, and so we've designed that, try to have that thoughtful development. So that's kind of an overview. I wanted to keep it high level, and I'm hoping that that helps a little bit.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I know when when Capstone was kind of, when I was coming in, that's kind of when Capstone was starting. And I know there was a lot of, well, we don't really know who these people are, and are they kind of going to be a fly-by-night organization that comes in and just builds houses and leaves and that sort of thing. And I know there was some apprehension at that time. And what I will say is that over these 3 years, I think we've gotten to know them. I know that our staff we consider it an absolute pleasure working with them because they come in, they know exactly what needs to be done. There's no questions, there's no misunderstandings or anything like that. They've done, this isn't their first rodeo essentially. They know how to, they approach it with a very professional approach to getting these things done. And from, you know, even Nick, you know, goes out and does the inspections and that sort of thing. They fly right through because it's just not an issue. It's never been an issue with these folks. So it's been a pleasure to work with them. But I wanted to kind of bring this up this evening in terms of kind of visualizing that pipeline, that it takes years to kind of get these things through, right? And so as you have kind of the front of the pipeline, you have the back of the pipeline, and you know, you have to kind of keep projects kind of coming in the front end so that in years they'll be coming out the back end of the pipeline in completed projects. And I know we've got this 30 acres that's kind of been discussed by prior councils and is certainly an option. To the south of that, we have Osborne property, which is kind of a little bit on the bubble, a little bit in terms of what they may do or may not do, or what some of the needs are there. But this is kind of seems to be the area in which that development is occurring naturally or organically, you might say. And so wanted to bring this forward and kind of just, as was indicated, kind of get you guys' input on kind of, first of all, what you're seeing so far, and then whether or not you're supportive from an economic development standpoint of kind of starting this discussion on this 30 acres.
Any questions, comments? Marty?
Well, I'm going to make a comment. I was totally against this whole thing when it first started, and but now I'm kind of warming up to it. I do still think some of the houses are too close together, but it is what it is. But in the future, I think I'd like to see more variety in housing appearances. It just seems like there's so many that look exactly the same as I drive by, and I guess that's the only thing that I'm not liking about it right now is that house is the same as that house is the same as that house. I mean, variety is, I don't know, I'd just like to see more variety in houses. I drive through Blaine and I see all these new developments and they all look exactly alike, and I'm like, where's the variety? Where's the individuality of each home? And I think that's what's missing in a lot of new developments. And that's my opinion.
If I may, in regards to variety, we have our own rules in-house, and a lot of cities have this too, where you can't build the same house next door or across the street or kitty corner. We have 4 elevation styles for every different product that we have. So our liberties now it's a brand new product that's been very successful in many communities we've built in over the years. So the 1 level, we started doing the 1 level. We've only got that in 1 other community right now, and then the 2-story. So hopefully that's a variety. We do change our elevations, and we do that with the single family too. But I can understand for those that maybe don't have the variety and they're more cookie cutter, but we believe we do have some variety. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
Okay, well, and I know you
Yeah.
have a lot more to do, so, and
Yes.
I've just driven by there a couple of
Sure.
times, so.
With the product on the 80-foot lots, the 46 on the 30 acres you're talking about, give us an idea of what those houses might be valued at, or type of product that would go in there on a larger lot.
Well, I would say I'm not promising anything, but I would say probably on those lots, anywhere from
Obviously, market dependent.
market dependent, but if it's anything similar to another neighborhood that I have, it's probably gonna be between 550 maybe to 7 on some of those areas. Could be more. But I could see that occur there for a little higher value right there.
So access-wise, with this addition and with 189th being a dirt road right now, and I apologize, I haven't been involved in a lot of the other discussions as far as access and how that would work. I'm just thinking for fire protection and just circulation that you're tying into 189th. Is that correct on the back?
Possibly that's a concept.
Okay.
This was not, this is a concept here. I do know we did provide the 2 access points there. This year, that access point will be built.
Okay.
But for the future, I can't answer that. It's available, but I don't know if that's required. I can't answer that. Because I believe, if I recall, you might have the right of way here, but you don't have a full service road in here.
Isn't that the road that has the gate on it when it comes up into your development? Are there supposed to be?
There is, yeah. There's a green area right here where there's gonna be a trail connection. So Ms. Lex, I don't believe that we'll be looking to.
Yeah, it was an emergency access only, if
Correct.
I remember right. But
Oh, okay.
That gate came in the back way to the golf course
yeah,
for the employees.
Ah,
Yeah, so it doesn't, to me, at this point, we're just providing that, and you're correct.
okay. I just wasn't sure for fire response times or how, with no other egress back there, how that would work, but.
When you bought the golf course, why didn't you buy the par 3 part of it, the 60 acres there just south?
I was not part of that, Mr. Anderson.
I'm just curious.
I don't know, there might have
There's
been.
still 60 acres there that's under Viking View LLC.
Sure, yeah, I don't know.
'Cause that was the old par 3, 9-hole par 3 course.
This is quite a purchase already. So,
Right.
No, I agree.
Just to let you know.
Yeah, buy more.
But, yeah, right. We have bought all that, but
Yeah.
this will be hopefully in 2027.
Okay.
To purchase.
When do you expect your first sale to occur?
We have half a dozen sales,
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
but we want more,
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, so now we built a few. In today's, I don't know if you remember back in the day where builders would build one house here and one house there, but people would come in and want to do that. Not today. 90% of the homes that we build are spec homes because people do not want to build ground up anymore. They just want to come in, they see something that's at this stage, if it's a framing stage or a sheetrock stage, and that's what they'll go from there, and then they'll pick their stuff that they want, their items. Yeah, a lot of times that's how it is. They want to move in. They do not want to wait another 6 months. So that's the market for us today.
Will there be any additional trails or park space added on once you add that extra 30 acres on?
Well, we have this HOA neighborhood park here, that's open space. Then you guys, the city, requested this area as part of the park dedication and all the trails, but no additional park area in here, no, that I'm aware of.
What about trails?
Trails, yeah, there'll be connection of trails that come through here. You can see that here. We finished, I think up to this point here. But once we start developing this, that's when the other trails will come in. But we definitely would like to begin the process, if you guys would let us to begin that process. And again, the goal would be to try to have it done by year end, if not sooner, just to get it approved, and then make sure that 3 years down the road that we can still use that same plan. And it'd be a preliminary plat, and then we'd come in for future phases as time went on, but that's down the road.
And you did say there was gonna be a buffer put on there?
Yeah, we're looking at doing a buffer right here, per the discussions in the past, yeah. Be 10, 15 feet in the back. But most of those, if you know, you can see the area, a lot of them are already full of trees and open space, but we would create a buffer. But we're excited if we can
Yeah.
continue on, so.
That's great. So is this informational for us?
Just informational, yep.
Okay. Well, thanks, Tom,
So-
for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate
Anytime.
The update.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah,
We're gonna be a partner, and we enjoy the partnership, so, thank you.
thanks. All right, we've got item number 8, City Council report.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, just wanted to kind of brief you a little bit here on, we had a turnover in our city planning department, of course, and so right now we're under contract with Landform, as we were before, doing work. Kendra comes into the office when she needs to, otherwise she works remote. We have interviewed one potential individual, and we're looking at possibly extending an offer and going that route. Just to let you know, initially, when Grace was hired, we were just hiring a new planner, kind of out of school, and we thought we would kind of let them kind of earn their stripes here at East Bethel, and what we kind of found from that model is once they do earn their stripes, they become marketable. And as it's a tough market out there right now, in her case, she lived in Minneapolis and had a long drive up here and found a job in Minneapolis. So it's kind of hard to fault, not driving an hour every day one way. But at any rate, then we decided we'd move kind of into more of a senior planner model, somebody that would have a lot more experience and that might have that desire to move into the community development director spot. And so we kind of put that out there, and we had one. Actually, the timing wasn't greatest. We put it out over the holidays, and I don't think anyone really is anxious to move their jobs, over the holidays. But at any rate, we did get one response and followed up with that individual. We've interviewed that individual, and comes with a lot of experience. And I think we'll probably, if everything works out, will probably be a pretty good addition to the city. So, not giving too many specifics at this point until we know for sure if there'll be an acceptance of the offer, but it's looking pretty good so far. So, aside from that, we're excited about 2026. We've done a lot of what I'll call deferred maintenance on our facilities, and kind of been upgrading flooring and upgrading HVAC systems and different things that are failing, and we're trying to get caught up on those things. And we're, as was mentioned, Highway 65, 2027, by the way, they're breaking ground on 65. And so very similar to what's happened in Ramsey, you'll see development pressure starting to come as a result of that. There's very savvy site selectors that are out there that say, easier traffic, yeah, I can afford to build something. So I think we'll continue to see a lot more pressure in that regard. Having a senior planner in the city will be critical for those type of demands. So hopefully those puzzle pieces are coming together nicely for that additional pressure that we'll see. But at any rate, we're excited. We think that there'll be a lot of we're getting a lot of phone calls right now to begin with on development, but we think that things are happening. Now, I know that scares some people. I don't want necessarily all this development coming. And what I would say to that is that East Bethel is unique in that it has a Highway 65 corridor. And then you have rural outside of that, and people can have their rural and have their development because the development's kind of confined for the most part to the corridor. And the corridor is where you have your services and you have your your fast food restaurants and your gas and every other service that you're looking for. And I think as more and more come, those dominoes, people start to get competitively minded and want to be positioned as well to take advantage of a market that doesn't necessarily have all those options yet. So it'll be interesting to see that. I know we've got one fast food restaurant that's already very serious about locating, and so I think more and more of those requests will be coming. But at any rate, unless I'm missing anything, I think that's a pretty good council report.
Can I ask you a question? I know there was a meeting about some road work that's going to be happening on Lexington up to 189th. Do you know what is going on with that? Because I wasn't able to go to the meeting. I saw the post after, or the advertisement after the fact. So do you know what is happening with Lexington, what they're planning on doing?
Yeah, I attended that, and it was more just to get more input from the residents. Their plan proposal is for 2027. They're going to come from Broadway to the T there at Coon Lake Beach. And then in 2028, if everything goes right, they'll go from that T to the county park where they finished last year.
But what are they going to do?
It's going to be widened, and they're trying to put a trail on one side. It'll be a brand new road completed.
Turn
But
lanes.
Yeah, it'll be turn lanes and everything, and the biggest issue there, at one time they were going to do Broadway all the way over to the county park, but there's so much mucking they got to do along that one strip there by the sod fields and everything that they're going to have to close that road down for a week or two. So it's going to be a nightmare for detours.
Thank you.
Mucking is the official term.
Muck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mucking out, yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty interesting.
Thank you. Just a quick note too, I am attending the EDM conference, the Economic Development Association of Minnesota, Thursday and Friday. So I'll bring back any insights. There's a lot of panels that other communities are giving, and I'll take notes and bring back any insights.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's down in Bloomington, is that right?
Nope, just in St. Louis Park at
St.
the
Louis Park.
DoubleTree, right on 394.
Okay.
Anything else?
There's nothing else. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Actually, I have
Oh.
something else.
All right,
Oh.
let's get that in.
Sorry. One of the last council meetings, some people came up a little bit upset about 77% of the city's budget coming from our taxpayers. One of them mentioned opening up a cannabis store. Haven't really thought about it, went through it, and I'd like to hand out 2 separate items tonight for the EDA, which goes through the funding of such by business and the ownership of cities who do this. Now, there are a few out there for a future discussion down the road. I spent some time on it, went through startup costs, went through even key locations in the city, like the corner we just bought, and what kind of revenue it generates for the city. And I'm not making any assumptions either way, but I'd like you to have the information and let you look at it for yourself and go through it. And if we have a future discussion, at least we know what we're talking about, what it would cost, where the money would come from, and how much it would generate, and how much we would save on our, basically our budget every year. And then the low side is coming in between 3 and 5, which is huge, would flatten us out a great deal. Looking into it further, there are cities like Elk River is doing it. Anoka's putting one up. So it is not something that's unheard of by any means. but it's something that this city's going to be facing, and it's going to be an opportunity, some say, maybe not, but one of the residents came up and said and was very, adamant about, we need to look outside the box, so we did. So I took that information, I'm gonna hand it out to you guys tonight, and we'll take it from there at a future meeting, if I could. Other than that, I was gonna talk about how great our parks are gonna be over in the Capstone development with them funding it ahead of time, and that's key. You look at that area, and there really isn't a lot for kids to do. That area is gonna have some of the nicest parks in this city when they're done. And council's gonna see the new approval for what we just approved for equipment last week, and we're getting some really nice stuff. And it's cost effective, and thank you for being and working with Nate and our city on that, because it's gonna save money down the road, and it's gonna give people a chance to see what our parks look like before even buying a house over there. So thank you for that. That's what I have.
Thank you. All right. So we have a motion and a second, and we're ready to adjourn. I will adjourn the meeting. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Do we have to vote?
I think we did, didn't we?
No.
Okay, let's vote. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.